Hey. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody is doing well. I know I'm a little early. Yes, I'm a little early. Oh well, what can you do? I'm Algo. Thanks for joining me on another morning watch list building session. Today is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, and the market has corrected. um, yes, correction. I think that's probably the best word for it. We will find out more when we look at the futures overview. Um, Not gonna say it's a downturn yet, but I'm just saying we're still in a correction. Definitely stocks I'll be watching today will be Tesla, Google, AMD, Apple, Nvidia, all of those for any sort of news as to what's happening. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get signed into the chat, and we will get going on this pretty quickly. Got a bunch of news to go over. I don't think I'm going to cover all of it. Just going to highlight some of the key players that we've traded before, and with that, we will spend a little bit more time in the futures world so that we can kind of see what's happening in the overall market. I think it's a little bit more important to kind of focus on that right now because some big things could be happening soon. But we do have some earnings we want to get into, right? We talked about this yesterday. Take-Two Interactive, TTWO, had earnings third quarter EPS at 124 versus 94 cents. Revenues 903 versus 874, and guides fourth quarter revenues at about 885 versus estimated 924. So lower guidance for their revenues. EPS at 46 to 56 versus 65, so lower EPS. They did raise their net bookings outlook for forward-looking year 22 to 3.37 billion. So mixed, kind of mixed reaction on that, right? Yay, we beat on EPS, blew out EPS, right? Doubled almost, and revenue a little bit lower in revenue, guided lower, everything like that. So what does that mean? Super chop, a fragilistic, XP chopidocious. They held the 200, they held the 50. I don't like their 50 below their 200. They do have stack positive moving averages. They just fell out of the daily cloud. So possible pullback. Test the 200 at 169.48. Looks like that may be coming up here pretty soon. If they can bounce off this weekly mid, looks like they may be going a little bit lower. Yeah, 169 is that kind of key point. Below that, they're going to drop 167, and they're going to have to fight to get back up through that 200. But that is the 4-hour mid. Below 167, they hit 160 real quick. Okay. Kind of mixed emotions across the board for that. This one does get traded a lot, so keep that on your watch for today. Moving through the rest, Kathy Wood. The Kathy Wood ran ARK Investments sold. Ready for this? Hold on, let me say hi. Hey, last dude, I'm sorry. Let's connect today at some point. I've got a couple meetings this morning, but maybe later on in the afternoon. Let's go through. I want to teach you how to use that indicator. We'll get you taken care of, okay? Kathy Wood sold 4 million shares of Twitter ahead of Twitter earnings, right? She's getting clapped on Twitter. I mean, she's getting really clapped on Twitter. So 280,000 shares from all. I mean, across the board, she's scaling. She's getting out of Twitter. Does she know something we don't know? Probably. Twitter does have earnings coming up the end of this week or on Thursday. So the Thursday Twitter earnings is what we'll probably play. We will definitely be doing an iron fly. How big of an iron fly? Let's see what it looks like on the daily, shall we? The Twitter daily, dilly dally daily. Ooh, double red. Earnings coming up. Slingshot squeeze. I'd have to look. I've got one other indicator set that I use for earnings. I think we'd be cool with doing like a 30. Maybe last earnings. Dropped. Rocked it. Dropped. Dropped. So it looks like they sell off after every earnings. How low can they go? How high can they fly? I would say we could probably get away with like a 35.40, 35.30 iron fly. But as we get closer, remind me, and we will do a Twitter's earnings play, and we'll just, yeah, we'll see what it looks like at that point. But so far, Twitter has failed the 5,200 below. I mean, it's blowing out the bottom of the Celts. We rallied up, rejected the 21, came back down, found support at the 4-hour bottom, 4-hour mid, rejected 21 twice, once, twice. 2 daily rejections of the 21 is a bearish indication for me. So let's look at Twitter to the downside, right? If it could very easily, well, first of all, everything is going to be super inflated. So look for daily bottom coming in at 33 on Twitter. Yeah, right into earnings, right? 33, and then it's either going to fail and drop to like sub 20, or it's going to rip back up to about 40. Okay. SoftBank proposed. Ooh, yeah, this is important. SFTBY, SoftBank proposed 66 billion sale of ARM to Nvidia has fallen apart after regulators in the US, UK, and Europe raised major concerns about the potential deal's impact on competition in the global chip industry. So SoftBank, what is that? They ripped off that news. What's Nvidia going to do? Kind of getting hit, right? It makes sense to me. They fell to 5,200. Nvidia yesterday, excuse me, one test 200, two test 200. Nvidia is range bound between the 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top, 4-hour bottom, 4-hour mid, right? It is desperately fighting to maintain its structure. Okay, with that news, I think Nvidia has broken its structure. And from this trendline perspective that I'm about to show you right here, right, it is broken. It's down. It's broken its trendline support, which is also the 5,200. Now, Nvidia hasn't been below this for a while. Okay, from a Kelch perspective, monthly top is support 230, 238. Below that, we back test 235, which is the 4-hour bottom. Okay, does it have enough strength? 235 to the downside, 245, and then 256. It is in a down cycle, barely, but it's getting beat down pretty good right now. So let's see where it opens. Maybe a flush to 237, possibly wicking down to 235 before recovery. If it breaks 235, 231, and then finally 225. So there's a pretty big downside move setting up for Nvidia. Okay. The upside move would be a little bit more difficult. It would have to, this crap yesterday is not going to happen today. Look for a bounce off of 238 back to 246. 238 fails, 235 wick, melt down to 230. Okay. Raytheon RTX. So this is important because Raytheon is in the business of war. Okay. Their missile division had 3 senior executives leave the company, shaking up the aerospace giant's defense business. Yeah. Yep. Big old drop. So far it's been rallying, rejecting massive resistance, came down, retested the 34, rebounded, retested the 13. Do I not have, hold on one second. There's something off on this. I don't have, I do, I guess. Okay. All right, so RTX is retesting the 13. Fully anticipate a move back down to about 92. Below 92, there's pretty solid support at 91.50. Below that, we come back down to 90.50. So there's a downside move, and then there's an upside move. This double green for the last 4 days lead me to believe that we're still in a bullish uptrend, and this is just a pullback to support. The whole market got shook off of this yesterday, so pretty big news there. 92, 92.25, 90, 91 to the downside. So below 92.25, we get 91. If we bounce off of 92.25, we go back up and test 93.94, right? That should be a fun one to play today. That was RTX. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What do we got here? I'm just going through, not really seeing anything that we're used to. If you have requests based on some earnings that maybe you were interested in, let me know. I'll review it. But I'm not seeing a lot. I'm trying to really hone in on the important stuff. BIIB, Biogen, we play this all the time. Okay. Entered into a commercialization license agreement with Swedish pharmaceutical company for its drug. How did it hold up yesterday? Well, it dropped just like the rest of the market, right off the 15 bottom, 15 mid, 15 top, incoming. Okay. If it can retake it's got to retake this 200, above 222, above 222.25, immediate resistance 222.74 on its move up to 223. Okay. If it rejects those, right, we look at the downside move. I want it above 223.25 for a move to 228. Okay. If it rejects these, yo, what's up? Okay, that was weird. If it can get through this 4-hour mid right here, like I said, if it can get through the 4-hour mid, it moves up to 4-hour daily mid at 227, then 228. If it rejects this 21 and this 34 again and can't get out of the weekly, it's going to come back down, gather a little bit of momentum down here at 217, right? So you've got an upside and a downside move on BIIB, okay? Amgen, which is another one that we used to trade a lot, AMGN. Fourth quarter EPS at 436 versus 408, right? Adjusted operating margin at 46.8%, revenue 6.8 billion versus 6.87. Has seen volatility with recent Omicron surge and could impact sales of its drug in 2022. Now, I don't like this choppy mess. It's holding the 50 for our bottom. Look for a move back 225, resistance 227. Above that, it gets pretty. Above that, it starts to breathe a little bit, and we can look at a move up to 230. Pfizer's in the news again with their earnings. Very anticipated earnings on Pfizer. Don't believe the hype. Fourth quarter EPS at 108 versus 88. So, an additional 20 cents per share. Revenues at 23.8 billion versus 24.1. So they missed by $1 billion. Sees 2022 adjusted EPS is 6.3 to 6.5 versus 6.65. You're right. Well, the amount of people that are using your stuff is decreasing because they don't need to use it anymore, right? Raises 2022 revenue guidance for its drug to about 32 billion, reflecting doses expected to be delivered under supply contracts signed as of late January. This here is an H. That H is not a W. This is a bearish pattern, right? The H pattern is dropping to heck. Now the H, so it rejected the 5-minute bottom. This is next stop, Pfizer's 49.31. All right, if it takes out its previous lows, it hits monthly cloud. Below that, it trades monthly cloud. Hold on. Yeah, it trades. So below previous lows, below 49.81. Okay. We get a little bit of help at 48. Here's me at 49.25. But below that, it's down to its 200 at 46.35. It's going to fall, right? No, big old massive squeeze is getting ready to release. If they're negatively stacked moving averages, they will fire to the downside most likely. And we have this 200 weekly bottom acting as a magnet. So, ready and fire to the downside. right? Double red coming in, right? So we should get another move down. Okay. Yeah, I like Pfizer to the downside. 46 might be pushing it, but definitely 48, 48.50. Just depends on how it opens. Okay. We don't do any sort of housings or financial stuff. Just seeing if there's any news with it. Nothing in financials. Energy. AEP, it may rip off of this news. American Electric Power has withdrawn its request that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission approve changes to an operating agreement for a coal-fired power plant owned by Kentucky Power and Wheeling Power under pressure from Kentucky Public Service Commission. Absolutely. You want to trade what do they call this? An IRA stock? Find something that you can just pick the range, right? That is about 1%. Well, maybe. So you can do 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top on this all day, right? 88 to 90, back down to 88. Just chop, 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 chop. Okay. Velodyne LiDAR. I've traded this. It's kind of a penny stock, right? But it's a fun one, especially when you get big old moves like this, right? Their shares surged over 40% as disclosed that the company agreed to issue Amazon, a wholly owned subsidiary, a warrant to acquire up to 39 million shares of Velodyne's common stock. So this is a LiDAR producing, or this company makes LiDARs, right? Which is like Batmobile technology. Let's think about this for a minute. Why would Amazon want to buy a LiDAR company, especially since it just produced a new vehicle? An electric vehicle. Maybe some self-driving technology. Speculation. If you were in this at 375 and you didn't sell at 7, you deserve the stock to go to 0, right? If you're bag holding a stock at 380 that doubles and you think it's going to continue to go higher, sorry, that's not the way you trade these. Now, the next couple sessions, right, since we had a squeeze fire off to the upside, the next couple sessions should be bullish. Now, does it sit there and chop? What kind of a fib retracement do we have on this? Let's check it out, shall we? We have from high to low, from the high to lows, right? It's broken its 382 retracement. So if it does not hold the $5 range, it's going to come back down to about 350. If it holds this $5 right here, if it holds $5, we can see 550, 650. I'm not going to say 7. I don't think it gets back up there. It might. Or it's going to chop right here and form the world's biggest bull flag. Okay. Keep an eye on it. Is it worth buying 100 shares at 375? Yeah. At 7, no. At 5, maybe. You would just have to be okay with your $500 going away, right? Just be like, I bet $500 on a LiDAR company that Amazon is looking at buying. Okay. General Motors downgraded to equal weight from overweight at Morgan Stanley. And by the way, this rainbow sherbet rain is like candy. Oh, it's so good. What's up with GM, yo? Remember, GM was all the hype a couple months ago, right? Even last month, GM was the hype. This is what happens when you start failing Keltner channels, right? If you can't hold your 50 and your 200, you're going to have issues, especially if you are an overinflated stock. We do have an inverted head and shoulders kind of forming here. This weekly bottom is 48, man. If it loses 48, next stop is 35. That's how important this weekly Keltner channel is, right? It's maintained it for quite a few months. All right, let's go back in time. right? It's maintained it for quite a few months. Like I said, it's going to have some issues. Real close to having some serious issues. Okay. Okay. And oh, Peloton's back in the news. They have earnings coming up. Yes, earnings coming up. Now, do you think that these people are artificially inflating the stock to get some of their money back? I think absolutely that's happening. Triple bottom, inverted head and shoulders, earnings coming up today. Is it today? Yeah, they have earnings. As they have news saying that the CEO will step down, the company will cut 20% or 2,800 of its corporate positions, according to the Wall Street Journal. The report said Spotify CFO Barry McCarthy will become CEO. Spotify's having some issues as well, aren't they? Okay. While Foley will become executive chair. So he's no longer chief executive officer. He is chief executive chair. Ooh. All right. Yeah. Peloton. This is poison. I'm just going to stay away from it. I mean, if you want to get involved with the hype, right? 15 top rejection back to 15 mid 2850. It holds 2850. It can go 31. If it breaks 2850, it goes 2750, 27. Below 27, it gets back down to this 2650, and even as low as possibly 24. Okay. Chegg. Remember we talked about Chegg yesterday. Chegg is an educational company that online learning, something like that. If you're a college student, you probably know what Chegg is. CHG. Okay. Shares are up 8%, baby. 8% off of Q4 earnings of 38 cents versus 31 cents. The Q4 revenues are up 1% and sees Q1 revenues at 205 million, and year-end revenues at 850 million. Q4 service revenues grew 6% year over year to 187 million, or 90% of its total revenues. It blew out the tops, right? 30. If I remember correctly, this one used to trade at 50. So what happens here? Up and down and up. We're out of our kilts, right? We're in trifecta mode, right? What does that mean? That means that we have an opportunity to continue to build off of this momentum. Wu-Tang reversal, kinda. This is just a peg stock post-earnings gap, right? So it gapped up. 29.30 is its range, right? Above 30 to 35, then we start rallying. We're retesting 32, right? Below 28.90, right? A little flush to 28.50, back down to 28, right? So there's the move, up and back and up and back and up, or up and back and chop, 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 bull flag. Okay, keep an eye on Chegg if you want to look at something that will have some momentum today. The Kremlin denied, so we're done with news. World news. Biden's top science advisor resigned after an internal White House investigation found that he demeaned staff in violation of the administrator's workplace behavior rules. Oh, the scandal. The director of the White House Operating of Science and Public Policy stepped down amid mounting criticism of his alleged treatment of his subordinates. People with knowledge of his behavior accused him of bullying, embarrassing, and insulting staff. Right? Get rid of him. There's a special place for bullies. Regardless, it's not cool, bro. You feel good now? You made other people feel bad? Lame. The Kremlin denied on Tuesday that Vladimir Putin had promised French President Macron that Russia would stage no further maneuvers near Ukraine for now, pouring cold water on a tentative French assertion of diplomatic progress. The Kremlin is saying, no, Putin didn't promise that. We're going to do what we want. That's what Russia doing. Just saying. Key events today, some virtual conferences, bunch of earnings. So bunch of earnings. Going through these to see if there's anything that we trade. Peloton has earnings today. And Lyft has earnings today. That should be a fun one to watch. Docs. So this is a social media platform for doctors. It has earnings today. after the close. This has always been a fun one. Like, it moves really good. If they'd ever get weeklies on this, I would trade this every week. But they don't have weeklies, as far as I know. CRSR, so Corsair, right? Talk about a range-bound stock. You would think that Corsair would have more of a market share, but they don't. I mean, they're everywhere. I've got Corsair right there, there. Everywhere. Corsair's everywhere. What else do we got? All right, that's it. Oh, Hog had earnings before the open. No news on them, but all right. This is a peg stock. All right, I think they call it a post earnings gapper. Well, it gapped up, bull flag forming, holding the 13, holding some major key levels of Keltner levels. Got the 200 as a magnet above it. Can you trade the 38.50 to 40? Yeah, you could do that. I think this is going to continue to move, right? It looks really healthy. Squeeze released, ready and fire, mid thrust buy, greenish yellow, but double green on the lower ends. Yeah, Hog is pretty fun to trade, right? I might just, if I was smart, I would have bought some of that there, right? Let's see. All right, events calendar for today. We have weekly retail sales at 7:45. Those have already hit. 8:30 international trade for December. Johnson Redbook weekly sales are all this morning, but nothing until this afternoon. API weekly inventory data, and into just an overview. And let me get rid of this, and we will get into the stuff you guys came here for. All right, S&P futures are looking down slightly around 44.70, trading in a narrow range about 25 points, right? And trying to stay above its 200-day moving average. Support lower around 44.40. Meanwhile, Treasury yields moved to their highest level in over 2 years, with the 10-year hitting highs of 1.96%, closed 2021 at 1.5%, and the 2-year at 1.32. It's basically doubled. It started this year at 0.77. Investors brace for the monthly CPI data on Thursday, so there is that economic news that will affect the market. Stocks in the U.S. have been holding in a choppy range over the last week, while the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ composites remain down for 6.5 and 11.5%. The NASDAQ is down 11.5% for the year. Ooh. In Asian markets, the Nikkei index edged higher, 35 points. Go, Bay. The Shanghai index 23, and Hang Seng fell to 250 points. In Europe, the DAX is down a few points, while FTSE is up a few points. Which is not bad. Oil prices fall for a second day further below their 7-year highs, and Bitcoin prices are steadily surging Monday. Maybe there's the correlation with Bitcoin and oil, because what I've noticed that, remember, oil was pretty much rallying for the last couple of weeks while Bitcoin was down. Gold is kind of range bound, but it is moving. We'll check that out. Watch list. Are you here yet? Nope. So, and then stocks tumbled late Thursday while the Dow finished modestly higher, and the small cap Russell outperformed. Remember, I said the Russell looks good. All right, S&P remains down more than 5% so far, with investors worried that the Federal Reserve could raise interest rates faster than expected. More clues can be offered later this week, as January CPI is expected Thursday morning, with prices expected to rise 7.3% year over year. Sorry, y'all don't get to see my Disney project I'm working on. Nope, I can't show it to you. I'm under contract. I'm under an NDA. Do not show Disney stuff to the stream. Sorry, I can't do that. Get it changed. There we go. That would have been bad for me, like really bad. Let's see. Let's look at Thursday. Did I just screw my stuff up? Unemployment is Thursday. So they're saying this CPI is expected to be new. Hold on. There's no way they're saying this. And they're saying it's supposed to rise 7% year over year, which would put it at. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. See if I just messed up my whole thing. Okay, didn't. So pretty decent, pretty calm day today. Again, more chop is on the rise. Okay, I don't need that one anymore. It was funny. I had to pay for something yesterday. I had to pay for something yesterday. I've got my Robinhood debit card. I used it for it. Immediately went and bought some SPY puts. Immediately made the money back. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wish I could do that every day for everything. I can buy cars. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's look at the futures first. Okay. This is our futures layout. ES so from top to left to right, top to bottom, ES, NQ. So the ES, NQ, YM, Russell, gold, crude, bonds, and then the yen. Okay. We will start off with the ES like we always do, checking it out on the daily for any updates. Okay, remember I said there's a couple things that could happen, right? We rallied up, we pulled back, we did test the 200. Now, I don't know if that wick was enough to satisfy the need for the complete retracement. Okay, we're looking for bounce up and down. Let me draw this out for you. It's kind of this one right here, right? So a bullish move would be something along those lines, right? Maybe this is what it has to look like though, right? Maybe I bring it out a little bit more. You know, maybe we're red this week and green next week. That's a very, very real possibility. The other option is we do this, which is a very real possibility. The chop, right? That puts us out until next week with March, right? So if we continue to chop out into March, where they're expected to announce some stuff, is the market stable at this point, right? Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna. They usually don't chop the entire market for more than a couple days, like they did here, right? They chopped it here for what? A week, choppy week. A little bit further back in September was choppy. Most of September, the end of September and all of October was super choppy. I remember trading in October and how brutal it was. Yeah. So we may get to that chop, that 4440 to 4600. I wanted to say 4500 to 4600, but I can't because that 200 is going to be in play. Okay. Breaking it down to the 4 hour, right? And we've got a 50-21 crossover that's going to happen today. If the 21 can bounce off the 50, I think we get an up day. If it fails, then we're going to get a down day. See how we chopped here? Like we might be setting up another chop here, and if we stair step chop the way up, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be get in and get out, right? Don't try to swing anything. Don't try to be like don't try to get every scrap of meat off the bone. Just get your bite, get your slice of pie, right, and get out, because this is like I really think this may be the move. Okay. Now yesterday I was thinking we were going to get some volatile moves, but just didn't work out that way. So we've found a bottom. We're going to form a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here for the next couple of hours, or the next hour or so. And then we will make a move. Are we basing here? Yeah, I think we've got to start a little bit of a recovery, making ES and let me just show you. Let me just break it down. break it down. All right, that's a little bit of a recovery there. Right, drop. We made a higher high. Excuse me, made a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We do have some resistance right here. We're going to keep an eye on it. What happens at 44.72.25? I think we get a pullback and then we make a head and shoulders. Contrarian or otherwise, we would trade out of this supply zone. Let me just try the supply zone. Oh, it's off. Trading View is not good for me drawing supply zones. I should probably just use Trend Spider exclusively for it. I think maybe that's a good idea. All right, so there's a supply zone there. We get a... Yeah, that's it. I wanted to say it was a little bigger, but it's not. It might, well, yeah, it might be up to here. Nope. Yeah, we'll give that the benefit of the doubt. I really think, yeah, I'm giving it too much. There it is. Okay, what happens at this level? Do we get a little bull flag, breakthrough, and then have a pretty decent move? Just retesting this and making this kind of an inverted head and shoulders? Or do we reject here and make another leg down? We will keep an eye on it. We'll know by the end of this stream what's going on, okay? All right, let's check out the NQ. I'm going to burn through these because I want to focus a lot on you guys' requests. Let's just get this bigger. All right, NQ. All right, so green line is a 50. Thicker red line is, or excuse me, green line is a 200. Thicker red line is a 50, and this is the 21, which we're having problems with. Now remember, there's this rally here. We've got a retracement. What happened? We pulled back. We held the 50. We wicked down and tried to take out the 382, but the 382 was not in conformance with. Guess what? Disney's hiring a metaverse designer. I don't know anything. Because this trading zone, right? This previous demand zone had more juice and fib level. So we rally down. We retested the 618. We're just chilling at the 50% retracement, right? Which is this 14.48425 level, right? But we're above that right now. So if this level holds, we can very easily just trade in this green demand zone, right? Just like we did over here. We could easily trade in that. Not seeing any strength. Looking at a little bit lowered volume, right? This 50 days pointed down. I mean, we could be range bound. I would like the NQ to rally 14.875. I'd love it to retest the 200, right? Here's the anticipated move. Shit, I don't even know if we need to do that. I think that might look good. The opposite view is this. Oh, no. Is this. Something like that. So important stuff happening on the NQ. Checking out the 4 hour. Oh, here we go. We're going to get a little bit of a rip. Right up to that 44.75 level that I was talking about on the ES. All right, so what do we got going on here? We got the 21.50 happening. What I'd like to see is the 21, this red line, bounce off of the 50, right? And both move in unison up to the 200. However, if the 21 crosses below the 50, it's going to kind of pull price down with it. And we really have to look at 14,300 as a possible downside target. If we went off of, I can't say that that's a trend line. I really can't say that's a trend line. I want to. Ooh, that's so tight. I mean, this reminds me a lot of what happened in the Russell, right? And when I get over there, when I get to the Russell, I'll show you. I'll show you. I should have traded that. Why didn't I? So we're getting a little bit of a pop. That's just the market's opening, right? Remember the 6 o'clock move? Remember, there used to bell, but the bell would go off at 6 o'clock and we'd see a pop, right? All right, let's check out the Dow. All right, the Dow on the daily Dow, the daily Dow, right? The Dow is actually holding up pretty decent. Ooh, I don't recall ever seeing this kind of pattern before. If somebody knows what this is called, please let me know. Is that a bear flag off of a bull flag? That's new to me. I've not seen this one. Very interesting though. Trying to figure out what we could call it. I might have to consult some people on this one. This is interesting. All right, so this is a 21. It's that is keeping us down, right? We're not able to close. We're not able to close below that 21. Sorry, I got to make these obnoxiously big so that I know which is which. All right, so we got the 200 here, right? We've got the 50 that just turned green. We're kind of being kept below the 200. Or excuse me, below the 21, and we're squeezing. So we're getting a 21 200 squeeze. That is kind of good. I wish I just knew more stocks that were specifically to the Dow, right? Those sector outperformers. Regardless, I like the Dow up today. Retest 618 at 35.4. Y'all know some Dow stocks? Let me know, please. I'm looking for a dub right now. I took a pretty big L yesterday on Tesla. Right? Sometimes you got to take the L's with the dubs. It's just a weird price action. Very weird. Yes, I know it's a wedge, but it's weird. Anyway, rising 200 or rising 50 at 200 is definitely resistance. That's why I drew. There's a supply zone right there. Plain as day. Let's just make it even bigger. There's your supply zone. Yeah, that's it. That's this one. Right. Big old supply zone. Magnet. Oh, that was weird. Sorry. No white lines this morning. I promise. These days, my kids are gonna be like, "Dad, what are you talking about?" Just joshing y'all. All right. 4 hour looks like we can't chop forever. It's gonna make a move. Does it hold the 4 hour 50? I think it's going to. The Dow's pretty strong, in my opinion. Okay. Let's move it on over to the Russell, and I want to show you that move in the Russell that's making me think that the NQ is going to do it. Where was it? It's way back here, right? You're like, dude, I can't see anything but lines on your screen. Wait a second. Okay. This kind of move right here, right, where it's kind of a broadening pattern. I don't know, man. That's like I am reaching. All right, but So the old Russell has got, this is the kind of setup that we're looking to happen with the rest of the market. All right. We've got a 2150 stack positive moving average. We have held that previous overhead resistance, this trend line that was resistance for quite a while, right? We pop up over it, and immediately pull back to it. What I'm looking at here, come on, right? Stack positive, 2150. Do we another small cap day is not going to be good for tech, but we have another broadening pattern in here. Ugh. So this is a nice move, rally up, kind of a U-shaped recovery, right? A little U-shaped. I think that we get some movement. So we started getting some candle closes above. Sorry, I got to figure out that supply zone as a magnet. I think it's going to be this one. Let me just draw this for you real quick. We got a supply zone up here. All right, there's your magnet. I'm looking at 2065, excuse me, 2060 upside for the Russell. Contrarian, if we break down below this 50-day, right, below 9, let's just call it 2000. Below 2000, we get 1990. 1990s. And then below that, we get, we get into lower low. Russell looks good. Small caps might rip today. All right, so I think we get rotation into small caps. Yes, I believe that is the case. All right, gold is the last one that I really do a deep dive on, and then we will quickly recover the rest. All right, so what did we do here? What did we hit that stopped us? Looks like there's a little supply zone right there, right? Yeah, there's a supply zone. Let me show you. So we're in a previous supply zone right here. All right, we got to get through that. 1825, obviously, pretty decent target. We can get, if we can get moving above that, we move up and finish our up cycle, right? It's been a rough one, but we're about to have a crossover. Those crossovers we like to see. I don't know if y'all watch Power, but that season finale last night was fire. Yeah, here we go. We overtook the 200. However, the 200 is now support. If we break down below this big green line, we get a downturn. Okay, we got a 2150 crossover. We're trying to get that 50 to curl back up and cross over the 200, which would stack our moving average as positive. I think that would give us the momentum needed to come back and test this downtrending line. Right, we're still in a massive long-term wedge. Like, see if this is August, right? Right here, August. What happens when it pops? Ooh, could be fun. I would definitely want to be flat in Bitcoin when that happens. Okay, and then finally, a little bit of, I'll just break this down to the 3-minute. They're starting to get some movements here. Right? Let's see if this resets the charts. Yes, reload. Yes, reload. Reload them. All right. John's always planning to step down as Peloton CEO has become the chair. Doesn't address the concerns of the company's investors. Sorry, I'm just reading my tweet deck. Peloton reported earnings this morning and posted numbers. Yeah, so let's go back and check on Peloton for a second, real quick. This is, I didn't want the 4-hour, I wanted the 3. Oh my gosh, I've got the worst tickle in my nose right now. It's driving me crazy. Somebody's talking about me. Someone is talking about me. I know it's just itching like none other. All right, so like I said, nice recovery moves happening. I think we'll get a little pullback, um, and then maybe a nice move out of the gate. Maybe we get the first half of the day up and the second half down. I definitely feel like we're going to continue to be range bound. Gold overtook its 200 on the 3-minute chart, so this is starting to look very bullish for gold. Crude, right? Look at that. After a sharp decline, it started making its way back up. That $90 level is pretty significant. It's going to be retesting it. There is a supply zone up in there above 90 for crude, and we start moving pretty decent again. I think if crude can start moving the market, it can help out with the ES, maybe some Dow components. Okay, bonds, the TLT, this move right here. Bonds, sorry. No. Did I accidentally? I hope I didn't click that. All right. ZB is the 10-year bond. Now, there's a basic theory that the equity component or equity equivalent of the 10-year is TLT. Now, TLT is typically, it's a little snitch, just so you know, TLT is a snitch. And if TLT is selling off, then ES can usually move up, right? If TLT is rallying, look for some inverse effects with the ES. Okay, so just little tips and tricks there. The yen is, what's the yen doing? The yen's like, yo, don't forget about me. Hold on. My name is Yen. It rhymes with M and M. I'm just kidding. I haven't even set this up yet. 50, 221. Make these really big. Nine, 6, 2. All right, what's up the yen? So this is what happens when you get you got a 50, 200 crossover, right? And a 21 failure. There we go. Looks better. Right? The yen is going to continue to fall. Now, this is formed a little head and shoulders. But I think as long as the yen is down, then the dollar will be strong. And if the dollar is strong, the economy is strong, right? So we'll just keep an eye on it. Look at the resistance of the Russell. 2150 crossover. Really waiting for this to happen. Why are my lines not sticking? Y'all saw me draw those, right? Oh, I didn't hit apply. Derp. Maybe I did. All right. This Dow, though. Whew, Dow's strong. 2150 crossover. It should pull the 50 to cross over the 200. And we could start getting these smaller time frame 50, 200 crossovers. Then, it'll eventually build up. Okay. Hold on. Nvidia said the charge in Q1 is inclusive of its 1.25 billion prepayment provided at signing of the ARMS deal. What's up with Nvidia? Hold on. Nvidia news. Nvidia said today it intends to record a $1.36 billion charge in Q1 2023 after the company terminated its acquisition of ARM Holdings. All right, let's check this out real quick. I want to show you what's going on with Peloton. Their numbers came out, right? The numbers came out. Where'd they go? Sorry. All right. A 50% decline would only be a correction. Ooh. Sorry, I just had to read some notes. Yeah, this is Peloton. Just stay away from it. All right. And then just a real quick overview of our top bread and butter stocks, and that will definitely get into your requests. Let's look at the 30. So these are the stocks that we just get used to, right? These are the stocks that we always watch. We always check in on them. We see how they're doing. These are the big boys, right? These are money makers, right? These are a good bread and butter selection. I need to go through and clean this chart up a little bit, but the SPY is down, negatively stacked, right? Negatively stacked on the SPY. Let me double check on those moving averages. I think I might have them upside down, right? I might have them backwards. SPX looks like it's really trying to hold, right? Up and down and up and big down, right? Lower low. Is it a down channel? Is it a falling channel getting ready to start? Very possibly. Google, I'd have to look at this move with Google on a different chart. Google had blowout earnings, remember? And we were looking for a retrace, but I don't know if that retrace is broken and then now it's a downturn, right? We could run a fib from here to here and see where it lands. Should we do that? I think we should. Yes, we shall. So from the high to the low, right? 50% retrace, we held it, right? At the same time, our moving averages are still continuously stacked positive. So everybody's freaking out about Google. I'm a little bit more bullish on Google than most, right? Yes, we broke the 50. Our 200 is intact. Our 13, 21, 34 are still intact. So any sort of recovery move here, look at this turn up on the 50. I think we get a nice, pretty nice up day on Google, right? We can overtake the 618, which is also the weekly mid. I think we move 4-hour mid, which is daily cloud. Is it daily bottom or daily top? Looks like it's daily top. So that move back up to 2,900, right? Above 2,900, 2,950, 3,000, 3050. Do we get that move? Ooh, I don't think we've got enough in the market momentum-wise to pull off this 300-point move in Google, 200-point move in Google, right? But I do see a nice recovery to the daily top, which is also the 4-hour mid. So 4-hour bottom, 4-hour mid, daily top, 4-hour top. Okay. Key level would be 2820 and then 2840 for that move to 2900. Okay. I like Google today. Google looks pretty good. Okay. And then just checking in back on these guys right here. Right here. Chill. AMD with the big finger. Apple. I know it's really hard to see a bunch of this stuff. You're like, just turn off your charts. Turn off BS. Apple's 30-minute. Right? We fell below. We got some negatively stacked moving averages. Right? Apple's really fighting at the 618. 173 and above, and I'm bullish on Apple. 171.50 and below, I'm bearish. AMD, these are the 30-minute chart. That's a big head and shoulders. It's a big finger. All right, let's get into the plays. So now we're okay. I'm doing. Okay, so what we're looking at now is the FlowTrade Flow Index algorithm. All right, it's a smart money, dark pool, and block trade flow index that they've created to track large institutions, hedge funds, smart monies, block trades, dark pools, all of that activity. From that, they created an algorithm, and what that does is it tracks all of those transactions. Okay. Let's read some news about Pfizer. So what we look to do is we look for divergences between the white bars, which are price action, and this purple line, which is the flow index. Okay. When that divergence occurs, that divergence must play out. I don't have a great example here to show you. Maybe this one here, but not super. When I find one, I will definitely spend a moment or two talking about it. Other things on this chart is these red lines are regular block trades. These blue lines are dark pool block trades. And if you see a white line on my screen, you better call me over because it's party time. I'm just kidding. What it means is that there's a regular and a dark pool level that are printed on top of each other, and those areas should be considered major inflection points. And you should just, I mean, if I were you, I would draw a line up on your screen so that you can see what happens when price action interacts with those levels, right? Those are very key levels. Sorry, making a bunch of noise here. Those are key levels. So we don't necessarily really have any, maybe 907, 908 for Tesla. Got a regular block at 923. This is consolidation. Like, it's been a while since Tesla spent, a week in a $50 range, right? Around a $50 range. The flow index is making lower lows and lower highs, right? I'm not, and that's part of the problem, right? I went bullish on Tesla when I should have went, ooh. Apple offers some positive news. Apple has some positive news that they just acquired AI Music, a startup that uses artificial intelligence to generate personalized soundtracks. I think that's huge, right, for Apple Music. Apple might get a little bit of love off of that. A little bit of love. Okay. Tesla. Having a hard time finding some bullish sentiment other than maybe trendline support. We are 907.34 is the regular block. Came in yesterday. If we have a down cycle, we've got support down at 890. Sorry, 892, 890, 887. Is that right? 887 to 890 is support. Below that, there's this gap down here. I didn't even see it. I forgot all about it. All right, there's a gap all the way down to 848. All right, so we take out this little demand zone, or we take out this weak. Maybe it's not as weak as I thought, but we take this trend line out. I think we gap fill down to 848. Right? That would be a big move. Contrarian, I can't even see. Can't see a big move coming up on Tesla. All right. Morning. All right, let me say morning. Morning, Laz. Morning, Terry. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Andrea. Michael, Drago, and Watchlist. What's up? Let's go with BA. Johnny wants to see what's up with BA. All right, let's check it out. Well, the flow index is trading with price up into this point here, where flow index has continued buying as price pulled back. That micro divergence that occurred at 211, where price came down to 209, that micro divergence is played out. Now, price is continuing to move with the flow index. See how they're moving pretty one-on-one? Depending on what happens here, there's dark pool level at 211.50 and another one at 211.92. Those came in late yesterday. So those could very potentially be a bunch of buy orders. We'll have to look. If that support breaks, we come back down and test this regular block at 206. What did I do? Did I do something? Laz is the first one to let me know if I make a mistake. Oh, thanks, brother. Laz just hooked it up with the Dow. I'll research that and I'll maybe create a curated list or something like that. Sorry about that. This is a pretty significant trend line, pretty vertical, right? Right. Pretty vertical. I would keep an eye on it. It's got some pretty killer support down here at this regular block at 206. If it does break below 209, it does have a trading zone down to 203.56. Okay, so this is a little trading zone right here. Right here. I don't have my rectangle tool, so I can't draw it up there anymore. A little sad about that. Keep an eye on the flow index. It's hitting some longer term resistance from back in the day, right? From back here, right? If the flow index can get above this resistance, I think it can start moving up. All right. I don't really trade BA, but there's a move for you. I already looked at Tesla a little bit. You want to look at DraftKings. Let's do this. I'll do the four chart layout, the 2x2 of everything, and then. Sorry, Michael, I didn't see you ask for Coinbase. If we're gonna get a request, please try to use a ticker. Tesla, DKNG. Facebook. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. Coinbase is at white line support, that 205. There's a regular and dark pool level that printed on top of each other. Above that, we've got a dark pool at 208.59. We've got nice trend line support happening with coin. With the continued move in crypto, I would look for the flow index to continue to make higher highs and higher lows. Now, right, the flow index, however, is coming up to previous resistance, which is also previous support. So 180, the whole 180, 181 range is going to be resistance. If the flow index can get above it, I think it can continue to move price action higher with it. There's a gap that needs to be filled on coin that runs 210 to about 220. And I think as long as we have a strong crypto day, we might be able to actually take advantage of some of that move. Okay. We will keep an eye on it. As far as other little tidbits, flow index. I mean, it's just right up at its resistance, but it's made higher lows and higher highs. I think it might actually continue to move up a little bit. I did Tesla, Facebook. There's just a zone on Facebook. The flow index is just trading with price, right? It's going 1-to-1. These are the block trades in the last 5 days. It's a lot of noise. Last 3 days, we've got a dark pool base forming right at 220, 225. That's really tight flow index as well. So if we start moving up 220, 228, above 230, there's a regular and a dark pool magnet at 235. I think that's a pretty good move. 227 to 237, right? We need to see another higher high and a higher low. There's just like, it's just trading 1-to-1. Support is 226.59, right? That's your white line level there. We came back down to this dark pool. I think they're buying into this, right? Double bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I said, if we can get above 228, right? Magnet. So this 229 magnet will be in play, right? We're going to try to fight through 226, 22, 27 up to 229. At 229, do we move up to 230 and then pull back? It should be interesting to see. I would say above 230, we get 238, right? It's 238 regular block trade magnet. Contrarian, if we break this dark pool at 224.91, then we have another downside move coming up. Okay, DraftKings bearishly diverged. Well, it's yeah, bearishly diverged, barely. Because if you see, right, you can see that we have some trendline support. Got a little bit of trendline support there, but what happens is we also got the flow index is making lower lows and lower highs, and we've got divergence that's coming in right at that 2053 level. So if this trendline support breaks, we got 2053, and then a downside move probably to 19. Yeah, probably to 19. That's just the way I'm looking at DraftKings right now. I like it to the downside. Nvidia. All right, I'll be right back in 1 second. I gotta wake up my chicken head. Oh, all right. What was I doing? Nvidia, Amazon, IWM. Yes, I'm cherry picking these just a little bit. Apple. All right, Vidi. The flow index is trading 1-to-1 with price action, right? We have a regular block at 243.72. That should be support. If it breaks that, we back test to 238. Below that, there's a little gap that needs to be filled all the way down to 230. If we maintain this weak trend line support and we actually, right, we can maintain some of that trend line support there. We have a little reversal candle here from 246 to 250. Above 250, 255 comes pretty easy. Like I said, we've got and that was broken clearly. That one's intact, right? So there's a trading zone 234 to 241. The flow index needs to get in for it to continue to move upwards. Yeah, just keep an eye on it. Like I said, there's a regular block magnet that's going to pull price down to 243.72. I came in yesterday at the open, ripped off of that. We're pulling back to back test it for maybe a continuation up. Amazon is bearishly diverged, right? It's just trading 1-to-1 with price. We have a dark pool at 2807. We've got another dark pool at 2778. Now, there's a little trend line support. We've got a white line block at 3160 level. The price action came up, made a low, made a high, right? Made a lower low at this regular block. So these dark pool levels at 3152.75. If those break on Amazon, 3112, 3090. Below that, we retest this little zone right here, this supply zone that runs 3048 to 3094. Below 3048, it's downside move. Pretty big one coming into. This does look like a nice little cup and handle though, right? So don't be discouraged, but the flow index has been making lower lows. It tried to make a higher low, but it failed, right? So it's got a little bit of trend resistance as well. Okay. IWM is actually pretty bullish, in my opinion, right? We've got nice divergence here. Just draw the thing. A lot of that divergence has already played out, so we do want to keep an eye on this level here. It's 202, right? We've got uptrending, right? A little bit of a wedge being formed. IWM trading with price. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little inverted head and shoulders. Massive. So we got regular and dark pull support at 190. God, I can't see those. 198, right? Massive dark pulls right here at 199.62. So if there's a bunch of buy orders in there, we can look for 201, above 201, 202.81, and then nice move up 204, 205. We reject this level and we take out this regular block at 198.34. There's a move down to 195. Below that, 185. Okay, Apple is bearishly diverged, but most of this divergence is played out, unless we want to consider this disappointed divergence, which is 165, right? So it's tough. So if Apple gets below 170.73, it trades down pretty quickly to 166, 161, and then finally at 160. There's a gap right there that might need to be filled, but Facebook did this for a long, long time. It's a lot of block trades to be looking at for Apple. Right in at 645. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like, let's look at the downside for Apple. 168, 164, 158. Contrarian, if Apple can work its way through these dark pools and get above 173, I think it hits 176. Okay. All right. I went bullish on Tesla and got clapped too. My bad. Like, yeah, I don't know if Tesla surprises us today, but it's pretty rough. Tesla definitely not doing what it was supposed to do. What did I not look at? I went over BA already. Let's look at CAT. And let's look at look at 3M. All right, Chevron is moving with oil. Oil is moving pretty good, so obviously it's going to be bullish. Let's see these two, this zone, this trading range right here, right? Regular block buy orders, dark pool buy orders, regular block sell orders, dark pool sell orders. Well, what's going to happen next? Well, the flow index is going to continue to move up. It's testing its previous highs. If it can pull price action up with it, we've got nice trend line support coming in here on Chevron, right? CVX is that Chevron, pretty sure it is, right? I would look for a continuation up. If it does break 138, it's going to come back 135, possibly 135.20. Okay. TLT with the bullish divergence. There we go. Look at this. So the flow index is making a series of higher lows and higher highs, right? We have a regular block magnet 141, 141.30. That's your upside move. The divergence occurred at 139.65, currently at 139.10. I think we fill that real quick, and there's a magnet up to the upside. Price is coming into some, or the flow index is coming into some previous overhead resistance that it looks like it's struggled with a couple times, right? If it can break that, I think TLT will have a pretty decent up move. Okay, contrary, I mean, kind of a little inverted head and shoulders. Regular block 139.65. There's a big old gap right here that runs 140 to 141. It's a dollar gap, but it's still there. Green bars pulling price up with it. I think TLT has a pretty decent update. Cat, what's going on with Cat? So, right, trading with price. We have a regular block on Cat at 199.84. If that's a buy order, right, that came in yesterday after the close, it's a buy order, then I think we get Cat at 205. Above 205. Dude, I can't even read these numbers anymore. 206. Jeez. Above 205 for a move to 205 to 212. If we break this trendline support, we come back down and test 195. So $5 to the upside, $5 move to 205 where we make decisions. Above 205, we trade this up zone to previous lows, 210, 212. Triple M. Flow index is trading with price. We have dual block trades that came in on the 4th for 160.73, starting to make higher highs and higher lows. Above 162, 164, longer term overhead resistance, right? If we break, right, if we can get above that, then I think we start making pretty moves to the upside. To the downside, I think if 160 doesn't hold, we got to do a fib level to the downside for a downside move. Okay. All right. That's it. I got to run. What did I miss? Did I miss something? Cisco, very bullish. Okay. The flow index is, most of this divergence is played out. The flow index is trying to make higher highs and higher lows. Trendline support is holding. We've got regular and dark pool white line at 55, 17, 55, 33. If we can break above, like, so there's this zone right here, right? Trade from the low to the high, and that's what we're doing, is we're trying to make that low to high. So I think we see a move up to about 56.77, possibly 56.90 before we get any sort of a move back. So see this move right here, very similar to this move right here. So I like Cisco to the upside, TLT to the upside, 100 on Cat, but everything else looks pretty decent. Real quick, AMC, just because it's funny, and Peloton. All right, AMC. What's up, AMC? With your regular blocks in the last 3 days. $14.90, $15.51. If it gets above 15.50, the flow index is trying to turn around a little bit here, right? Trying to make a. Looks like there's a little bit of a megaphone forming on AMC, so this should be the up cycle to make a new high, right? I think we move up to about 19 if we can get above 15.50. 15.50, right? It's back to trading like a penny stock. So sad what happened there. Peloton, like, this is just ugly. I don't want anything to do with this. But if you wanted to trade some of this volatility, there's a $31.64 regular block trade magnet. We've got dark pool support at 28.40 and 29.75. If either one of those break, we downside gap fill to this white line, kicking it at 24.60. That's your downside magnet. Currently, the flow index is above it, but it's made a low, and it's going to try to make a lower low. So just got to keep an eye on it. All right, that's it. I really got to go. Best bullish divergent stocks of the day. Welcome, Serenity. I mean, hold on. I think, isn't there a scan right here? I think I can click scan, and I can go trends. right? And I can look at the day, right? And I can see the square. It's probably bullish, right? Square looks pretty bullish to me. And then I would think that maybe something like, well, TTWO had earnings. Maybe, ATVI to the downside. But ATVI got bought by Microsoft. So let's look at United Healthcare. Right. That's a bearish stock. Let's look at XLNX from my weekly watch list that you guys can get for free at darkpoolcharts.com. Yesterday, like I said, there's an up day. Now it comes down. So that's it. You can also sign up for FlowTrade and get this scan and look at the trends. You can also check out the Celts, the 4-hour Celts. Adobe should be very bullish today. Right. All right, Adobe off of white line support 507. All right, I got to run. Raiden, come on, dude. I got to go. Thanks for joining me. Dark Pool Algo. See y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.